What is up? This is episode 11 of the Threewind podcast, and as you can see, I guess if you can't see and you're listening to the audio version, I'm alone. I'm all alone. Uh, Today I just kind of wanted to give you my, what I think about stuff and on certain topics, and especially basketball, because we're in the heat of basketball season, and Eston knows a thing or two about basketball. Charlie doesn't know anything about basketball, and so I thought I'd get on here and go through a lot of stuff. Also, the NFL, and we'll get through everything. I don't have an exact list of everything I want to talk about in exact order. I'm gonna kind of jump around, um, but I think everything I'm gonna talk about is stuff that is applicable to today's world in sports. Um, of course, we missed last week. I can't exactly. Oh, I was playing in a golf tournament. I don't play golf. I'm bad at golf. I was playing with Chance and David, who were both on the Halloween draft from 2 weeks ago. They smoked me. They're both decent at golf. I'm bad, really bad. And I was just out there for the fun of it. So that's what we were doing. So last weekend podcast really couldn't happen. I was thinking about maybe putting one early in the week, maybe recording one Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, the week kind of caught up with me. It got busy, and I was just like, nah, I'll just wait. And I'm not going to take longer than a 2 week break anymore. I mean, I know we had that long stint, a couple weeks where we didn't do a podcast. I'm going to try my very best not to let that happen again. So, little 1 week stoppage that moves into doing it the next week's completely fine with me. And so I'm here by myself today. I talked to Charlie about coming in. He drove in from Arkansas early this morning. He's exhausted, and I said that's fine because I wanted to talk about some basketball stuff that I knew he wouldn't want to talk about, and I don't want him to be sitting over here um, not saying anything for 15, 20 minutes and it wasting his time. So I'm fine with hopping on here by myself today and ready to get into it. Uh, oh, who won the Halloween draft? The Halloween draft was won. Okay, so here we go. I'll give it from 5 to 1 on voting. The voting was done on Instagram, Twitter. I don't think. Yeah, Facebook. A couple people voted on Facebook. So Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And at 5, dead last was Chris Wata, who had Candy Corn taken at his number 2 overall pick. Number 4 was Jacob. What was his trademark? Jacobs was just really plain, kind of boring. Chance was 3. I was 2, and Charlie won. Charlie won the Halloween draft. So as of right now, Charlie is our draft champion. If we do a Thanksgiving draft, which we might, we're definitely gonna do a Christmas draft. But if we do a Thanksgiving draft, that belt will be back up for grabs. But as of today, Charlie is our draft champion. Congratulations, Charlie. I don't have a physical belt or trophy. Actually, I could scrounge together like one of my little league 3-year-old t-ball trophies and stuff popping up on my computer. One of my little league t-ball trophies and give him that, and I think that would work just fine because it's actually the t-ball. I was about to say probably about the same level of importance, but the t-ball trophy is probably a little bit more important. So we're actually giving him a little bit of an upgrade. Um, I wanted to touch on the Atlanta Braves winning the World Series. Of course, beating the Houston Astros. I don't watch baseball. I don't pay any attention to baseball. However, I pay enough attention and I stay kind of in the loop of sports to know about the Astros, to know about the Braves, to know about the teams. You know what I mean, and their histories. I'm not as out on baseball as like Charlie is on basketball. I kind of know what I'm talking about. Not really, but like enough. Like I know players and I know teams and I know history, stuff like that. I just don't watch every game. I don't watch many games at all. And I watched some of the World Series games. Of course, I was rooting for the Braves. Jacob, who was on here, who got 4th in the draft 2 weeks ago, is a massive Braves fan, and he wanted to be on here for a podcast. But it's kind of the same situation where I don't want him to be on here for 5 minutes talking about something and then kind of not have anything to talk about for the rest of the time. So I think the best time to get him on here is like when there's few people. Like he did good on the draft, right? He didn't have to carry a lot of the load, which is good. I don't want to have him, and Charlie, right? Where he talks about the World Series for 10 minutes and then we're here with 30 minutes of me talking about stuff that they don't care about. So yeah, for Jacob's sake, congratulations, Jacob. Congratulations to the Braves. Of course, I wanted the Braves to win. I don't really care about baseball, but I don't like the Astros. I actually do like Altuve. I know everybody doesn't like Altuve, but I've done enough research to kind of like the guy. I think he's cool. He's like five. He's like 4'12". 4'12". He's like 4'2" out there. Out there being the best player in the league, and at times he's the best player in the league and was the best player in the playoffs. And it's just cool seeing a dude that's like built like a second grader be that good at a professional sport. Like, it's just impressive. So yeah, but other than that, yeah, I wanted the Braves to win, and they did it without Acuna. So congratulations to all the Atlanta Braves fans. The next things I want to talk about, I want to go over the NBA, because NBA has started since we did the last podcast. I think it started a little bit before, obviously, but pretty much the grit and grind of the NBA has started since we did the last podcast. And also, college basketball has started. And of course, the NFL is still in swing, as well as our fantasy football league, which I want to touch on because today I took a massive L in fantasy football, and I'm actually pretty upset about it, pretty mad about it. But I think I'm still going to be in the playoffs at the end of the year, so it's going to be all right. I've got a lot of problems with a lot of guys in sports right now. I think I'll talk about Kentucky first. So Kentucky basketball, obviously, I'm a massive Kentucky basketball fan. In the frame right now, you really can't see a bunch of Kentucky stuff, other than that XING for crossing up in the corner is a cat's crossing poster. Obviously, if you're listening, you won't be able to see anything, but if you're watching on YouTube, you can see that. But over to my right is a bunch of the posters over the years. I have several pennants over on the right side as well. So yeah, I'm a massive Kentucky basketball fan. Of course, last year Kentucky basketball with the worst year in 100 years. I mean, it was really the worst year they've had in a century. I think more than a century. I think it was worse than a century. I mean, it was really bad. Last year was tough, and it shouldn't have been tough. It's the Calipari experience. I'm sorry for any of you Calipari fanboys, and I know people who listen to this podcast on the regular know I talk about Calipari, how much I don't like him. And I know a lot of Kentucky fans love the guy. I don't get why. He has like the best team based on players almost every year. I'd say he probably hasn't twice out of his whole 12-year tenure. And he's won one championship, flunked out on several, and then has a team that was consensus top 10 in the country last year at the beginning of the season go not even make it to the NIT, or did they make it to the NIT and lost in the first? I don't know, but either way, they sucked big time, and I had to stop watching about 3/4 through the season because I just gave up all hope. It really made me it made me depressed. I can't stand watching Kentucky basketball look like that. Good news, I think we're back to an extent of I don't know if this is a championship caliber team. But, well, it should be a championship caliber team, but you can never call a championship caliber team under Calipari a real championship caliber team unless they have like an unstoppable force as their best guy. Obviously, Anthony Davis was that guy when we won it the first time, or won it the only time with Calipari. We should have done it with Karl Anthony Towns in 2015. But as far as unstoppable forces go, that's really the only two unstoppable forces we've had. And there hasn't been a ton of those kind of guys in college basketball over the last decade, so it's kind of been up in the air. But yeah, we should have won in 2015 when we had an unstoppable force in Karl Anthony Towns. I guess he wasn't so unstoppable because he ran into a guy, a legend, a fantastic basketball player, and Frank Kaminsky and Sam Decker, who Frank's still in the. I think Sam Decker's back in the NBA too. They're both in the NBA, but they don't exactly play. I think Frank plays a little for the Suns, but not much. Meanwhile, Cat is a consensus top 3 or 4 best center in the league. So, but that's enough on that topic. As far as this year goes, I'm actually really excited. Of course, we did lose to Duke, but it was a tight game for the most part. And they had a guy on that team, Keels, who, all credit to him, really showed us up. Looked really, really good. I'm not sure if he's the kind of guy to do that all year long. You know what I mean? Of course, they have Paulo Bonkero. I thought it was Banchero, but it's Bankero. I don't think it really matters how you say it, but he's obviously one of the top guys in college basketball. he had a good night, but it wasn't anything that would made me jump out of my socks. It wasn't anything crazy. But he was pretty good. But that Keels guy, he really worked us, and I'm not 100% sure that a guy like that is going to do that all year long. So the loss to Duke isn't as isn't as heartbreaking as a normal loss to Duke would be. I'm still pretty excited for this team. This is probably the oldest team we've ever had under Cal. You know what? It is the oldest team we've ever had under Calipari. I haven't looked at the exact averages, but I would say I'd probably bet money on it being the oldest team Calipari's ever had at Kentucky, because it's really just a bunch of transfers. We only have like 3 or 4 freshmen, maybe three, and they're good actually. The freshmen are, but really it's a lot of transfers, grad transfers, late in their career transfers, with a lot of college basketball experience. And I think as the season moves along and this team gets some chemistry, they're going to be a real problem. When I talk about unstoppable forces, we have pretty close to an unstoppable force in Oscar Tshiebwe. Uh, Scoring wise, not so much, but I mean Anthony Davis wasn't a crazy scorer. He averaged like 11 points per game. Um, Oscar Tshiebwe's out there grabbing 20 rebounds a game, and it's not a flunk. He's doing it in every game. And I know we've had 2 games, but in the exhibition games he's doing it too. So I mean, he's out there grabbing 20 rebounds a game, 10 plus offensive rebounds a game. That's in my book an unstoppable force. If a guy is grabbing 20 rebounds a game and double-digit offensive rebounds a game, that's about as good as you can get in that stat category. And he put up 17 points against Duke and 14 against Robert Morris. So I mean, he's not a total loss on offense or anything. He's pretty good on offense too. Um, and he's a good when he gets rebounds. He's a good passer, getting out to open guys on the perimeter. He's pretty good at everything on the basketball court except for shooting. And we actually have decent shooting this year, and that's always been a problem. We always run into stuff where we're crappy from three. We're pretty good this year. We got Kellen Grady from Davidson, obviously a school you think of when you think of 3-point shooters. Steph Curry, from Davidson, grad transfer, who put up 19 points against Robert Morris. Didn't do a ton against Duke, but he's pretty good. Xavier Wheeler from Georgia, very good. I think he's a guy that's going to benefit a ton from chemistry. He's our best playmaker by far. He had 10 assists against Duke and 12 against Robert Morris, or maybe I may have that switched, but 10 and 12 assists. Against against Duke, he was a little out of hand. He was moving really fast. He turned the ball over a lot. Not so much against Robert Morris, and you could say that is because of the Duke defense, but at the same time, it was more his like mistakes and not Duke's good defense, if you know what I mean, because he just wasn't making those mistakes against Robert Morris, and he wasn't moving as fast. He was a little bit more under control. But yeah, very, very solid player from Georgia. And he's going to be a guy that over the course of the year is going to get better and better and better because of chemistry. A guy like that feeds off of other players as a playmaker. That's all about chemistry. Who else? We have Ty Washington's a freshman. Very, very good. He was iffy against Duke. He wasn't fantastic or anything against Robert Morris. Again, I think he's going to be a guy, as a freshman, as a highly touted freshman, is going to get better as the year goes on for sure. Damian Collins, I want to talk about him last, actually, because I really like him. Keon Brooks, of course, this is his 3rd year at UK. He's getting better every year. He was pretty good last year, but I think, pretty good on last year's team isn't great. But I think he's going to be a solid player on the team this year. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss any big names. And I know I am. Oh, jeez. Jacob Toppin, he was out against Robert Morris, played against Duke. He can jump out of the gym, highly athletic guy, a lot of potential. Pretty good player. Obi Toppin's younger brother. I know I'm missing somebody. Oh, jeez. I'll talk about Damian Collins while I'm trying to remember who I'm missing. Damian Collins is a highly touted freshman. Very, very, very raw potential guy, kind of guy. He's 6'9", incredibly lanky, incredibly athletic. didn't play much against Duke because he is a raw guy, a raw talent. Um, I don't know if you can trust him in the big games just yet, but against Robert Morris, he looked really good. Had some highlight dunks in that game. I think he's probably going to be that guy from this team that goes onto the league and is the best player from this team. But as of right now, isn't a super high rotation guy. But he's going to be very, very, very good. I can guarantee you that. And by the time March Madness rolls around, he may be the best player on the team. We don't know. But yeah, he's going to be very good, and I'm very excited for him. He's a guy that if, let's say, he doesn't play a ton this year and doesn't feel super comfortable about the draft, if he stays another year, he's going to be like the best player in college basketball. So, I'm very excited about this Kentucky basketball team. Again, I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm not fully in or out on them being a championship contender, right? But you never know. In March Madness, you never know. I do think that Duke is more of a top 5 team and not a bottom 5 out of the top 10, more of a top 5 kind of team. So losing to them by, what we lose, 6 or 9? I can't remember. 9, I think. 79 was that the score. Losing to them by that much doesn't really bother me, especially not with the way some of our guys played. Some of our guys didn't do much, and you expect them to, improve as the season goes on. You expect guys from Duke to improve too, but at the same time, I don't think that Keels guy is going to be doing that at the end of the year like he's doing it now. I just don't. He's good. He's very good. But it was more of a he got the ball in his hands more because Bonkero was out for a portion of the game kind of thing. You know what I mean? So we'll see. He could be the best player in college basketball. But I don't think so. College basketball as far as that goes. Gonzaga. I want to talk a little bit about Gonzaga. I was watching their game against Texas, who was ranked the 5th best team. They made Texas look stupid. Gonzaga's the number 1 ranked team, if you don't know. They made Texas look stupid. They made them look like a team that shouldn't have been ranked, and they're a really good team. Gonzaga has Chet Holmgren, obviously. He's supposed number 1 draft pick for next year. He was good, but the guy on that team is that Drew Timme guy, who last year in the tournament was good. He was really good, but no one was really focusing on him because they had Suggs. He is a legitimate, college basketball, the face of college basketball kind of guy, kind of how Luka Garza was last year. When they're never going to do much in the NBA, even if they get drafted, and he'll get drafted, but they're never going to do a ton in the NBA, but in college, they're beasts. Tyler Hansborough, Christian Laettner, those kind of guys. In college basketball, Drew Timme is a beast. He's unathletic. He's out of shape. He's slow. He has a better mustache than me. That's for sure. I actually strive to have a mustache like Timmy's. He's just a beast. What, 37 points against Texas, and you watch him play, and he puts himself in these positions in the paint where you're like, how is this guy gonna score? And he just flips and dips and spins and gets all in there and scores, and 37 points. He's the best player in college basketball as of today. He's really, really good, and he's a junior. And I think he's going to stay, 4 years and play his senior year too. If this dude is the best college basketball player as a junior, he's definitely going to be the best college basketball player as a senior. This guy's going to average 30 as a big, tubby guy who's undersized for his position and slow and unathletic. It's crazy. I love college basketball for reasons like that. You don't get to see those guys in the NBA. You don't get to build those characters like you do in college. College basketball is amazing for that reason. Guys like Drew Timme and Luka Garza and Tyler Hansborough and those guys in college, Frank Kaminsky, as we talked about earlier. Those guys go to the NBA, but they don't do anything, and they're not great all-star players. But in college basketball, they're the man, and they're beating up future all-stars in the NBA. And those guys in the NBA look back and they're like, Cat looks back and he's like, I got absolutely manhandled by Frank the Tank Kaminsky. That's why I love college basketball. I think that's all I got for college basketball. I want to talk about the NBA. Actually, I'll talk about the NFL first and fantasy football first, because the NBA is the stuff I have the most problems with right now, because I'm fed up. As you can see, I'm a Utah basketball fan, and right now is not a great time to be a Utah basketball fan for some reason. Don't ask me why. I'm not exactly 100% sure, but it's. But the NFL, I'm a Buffalo fan. Buffalo fan. Last week we I don't even really want to talk about last week. Really embarrassing loss to the Jaguars. Uh, I wasn't able to watch it again. I was playing in the golf tournament, but I didn't feel like I needed to watch it. It was against the Jaguars. I was like, um, the game started. It was like 3-3 in the first quarter, and I was like, okay, that's probably about as close as it's gonna be. We're gonna win 40-3, 40-6. And I go on and play my little round of golf, and I go look back at 6-6 in like the fourth quarter. Like, what in the hell? And so I like, well, I got to go home and watch the rest of this game, make sure we don't lose to the Jaguars. Imagine that. We lose to the Jaguars. 6-9. I mean, can you believe that? Not only did we lose to the Jaguars, it was freaking field goal central. That's all it was. It was they won by a field goal and we took 2 field goals. You're telling me we couldn't make our way down the field one full time once? Not once against the Jaguars? That I was preaching to everybody that I thought the Bills were going to win the Super Bowl this year. That I thought the Bills were the best team in football this year. And then they get down to it and they can't freaking beat the Jaguars. Not only can they not beat the Jaguars, they can't score a touchdown against the Jaguars. That's ridiculous. I mean, it's sickening. It makes me sick to my stomach. I can't stand that. Yeah, that really blows. Losing to the I can't overstate it enough. Losing to the Jaguars, and the Cowboys got absolutely mollywopped by the shoot. Oh, I was too worried about the Bills losing to the Jaguars. I forgot who the Cowboys, the Broncos. I think was it the Broncos that whooped up on the Cowboys? I think so. I have no idea what the hierarchy in football is right now. I mean, the Cardinals just got absolutely demolished by the Panthers, led by freaking Cam Newton, who hasn't played this year, who has sucked until he got cut and hasn't played this year. Comes in and they kill the Cardinals, who were 8-1, who were 7-0, and the Panthers come in and kick them senseless, beat the crap out of them. It's ridiculous. So I have no idea what the hierarchy was. I would have had Cardinals in my top 5. I can't have them in my top 5 anymore. I had the Bills in my top 5. I really can't have them in my top 5 anymore, as much as I love the Bills. The Cowboys, nope. The Buccaneers, they lose to the football team. I didn't check that. I think they lost to the football team. Well, with the football team, Washington is the football team. It could be anybody. Washington versus Bucks. I didn't check the final score. Yeah, I mean, Washington beats the Buccaneers by 10. Washington sucks. Can we call the Buccaneers a top 5 team? Maybe, but like at the same time, you can't. I mean, Tom Brady throws 2 interceptions to start the game. I don't know. So what I think the Titans are my favorite. The Titans without Derrick Henry? Like, can you put them up that high without Derrick Henry? I mean, they barely beat the Saints today by 2. The Saints get a freaking two-point conversion there, and they're in the game for the win. Can you put the Titans up there? I think you can right now, but like I could see the Titans losing to anybody without Derrick Henry. Who am I missing? The Ravens got destroyed. I mean, really, the Ravens lose to the Dolphins. I mean, who else? Who am I missing? I can't put the Colts in there. Can't put the Steelers in there. Who they lose? Oh, the Steelers tie the Lions. The Lions, they tie. You can't put the Steelers in there. You can't put the Steelers. You can't put the Bills. You can't put the Bucks. You can't put the Cardinals. Is it just the Titans? And the Titans don't have Derrick Henry? Who am I missing? The Rams? They looked stupid last week against the Titans. The Chargers aren't anything to write home about. Who am I mean, does the league just suck? Who am I missing? Am I missing somebody big that at this point should be the favorite? I can't think of them. I mean, I would have told you the Cardinals were up there until today. The Patriots are the Patriots. I put them up there now. It's ridiculous. I might have the Patriots up there in the top 5 now. They've been really good. I'm not 100% sure what it looks like. Earlier, a couple weeks ago, when the Titans beat the Bills, I texted my friend who's a Titans fan, and I said, Titans aren't making it past the second round of the playoffs. Yeah, they are. They're making it to the Super Bowl as far as I'm concerned. They look great. You can't put the Chiefs in there. You can't put the Chiefs in there. I don't trust the Chiefs to win a single game in the playoffs, let alone win it all. There's no way the Chiefs win it all because they have to win every game. They're not going to win every game. They're going to lose one of them. So the Chiefs, you can't put them in there. The Bills, you can't put them in there. Bucks, no. Rams, no, maybe, but probably no. Cardinals, no. Chargers, maybe, but no. The Titans, maybe, but no. The Patriots, maybe, but no. the Ravens, did I already say them? No. Um, I don't know who the favorite is, and I'm probably missing somebody, and I probably look really stupid right now, but I don't think I am, and I think the NFL's up for grabs as far as I'm concerned. Um, what's not up for grabs? Me sucking at fantasy football. And I'll go ahead and pick my phone up and list you off everything that happened in fantasy football. So I was supposed to win this week against my buddy Tim, and I have a team. Okay, so I've already lost. Okay, so I've already lost, and he has 2 guys left to play. I have Josh Allen, who put up 21 points, but not anything to write home about. He should have had 24 points, 25 points. So Ezekiel Elliott was my only player that passed his projected. My kicker and my defense did, but I don't care about my kicker and my defense. Ezekiel Elliott had 21 points, but he had 20 points at halftime. He had 19, 20 points at halftime. He fumbles it in the second half, and they don't give it back to him. What's going on? DeAndre Swift has 16 points, and he should have had way more, dude. If the Lions 16-16 against the Steelers, if they had given it to Swift, who's their best player, if they had given it to Swift a little bit more, then they win that game. What are you doing? Devontae Adams, 14 points. I mean, ridiculous. They beat Green Bay beats the Seahawks 17-0. You know how you'd win a lot more than 17-0 against a crappy Seahawks team? You pass it to the best wide receiver in the league, Aaron Rodgers. You joke. You're an absolute dork, a dweeb. I mean, that's ridiculous. How does Devontae Adams ever end up with less than 20 points? It's ridiculous. Look, I don't care if you want to switch up your offensive scheme because everyone's going to be guarding Devontae. He's the best wide receiver in the league. If you can't trust him, you can't trust anybody. Throw it to Devontae Adams. Oh, my God. He didn't have a single receiving touchdown in the whole game. That's ridiculous. He should have one at the very least in every single game. I have Deontay Johnson, who is the best wide receiver on the Steelers. Guess what, Steelers? You wouldn't tie the Lions if you'd pass it to your best wide receiver. It's ridiculous. Just throw it to him. He doesn't have a receiving touchdown. That's why you lost. Duh. That's why you lost. I mean, it's not why you lost. You tied. But when you tie the Lions, you lose. That's, in my book, that was a loss for the Steelers. You can't put the Steelers in there. Nope. Because you tie the Lions. Freaking Dawson Knox, the tight end for the Bills, gives me freaking 2.5 points. Like, I get you broke your hand. Don't play if you're going to put up 2.7 points. It wasn't his fault, though, to be fair. Josh Allen throws it to him one time. Josh Allen, like, that's ridiculous, dude. Throw it. Dawson Knox, what? I'll go to the stats. Gives us, what? 20 against the Texans, 20 against the Chiefs. He hurts his hand against the Titans, but he was on par to do good against the Titans. 14 against Washington before he was even getting targeted a ton. And then he comes back this week, and against a team that doesn't guard tight ends well, in the freaking Jets, who we blow out the water, and you can't throw it more than one time to your tight end. He's out there. He's an O lineman as far as why is he a tight end? Why is he listed as a tight end? He's an O lineman. Cole Beasley, that's my fault for playing him. 3.5 points. In his thing, he's a ribs problem. He's had a ribs problem for the last few weeks. If I had read this before the game, Beasley ribs doesn't have a designation for Sunday's road game versus the Jets. I would have played A.J. Dillon. How many points did A.J. Dillon have? Because he's sitting on my bench right now, and I'm about to cut him. 26 points, A.J. Dillon. 26. Oh, my God. Freaking I have A.J. Dillon on my freaking bench with 27 points. Hunter Henry as my tight end on the bench with 20 points. I have them in the freaking game, I win. It's ridiculous. That's my fault for not playing freaking Dillon over Beasley. I was this close to doing it and didn't do it because I was like, yeah, Cole, but over the past few weeks, Beasley's 14, 20 points. He's been really good. He's been really consistent is the big thing. But it's not his fault. He gets thrown to 2 times. He catches it both times. Josh Allen's just a joke. What's he doing? Throwing it to Stephon Diggs every time? Switch it up a little bit. A.J. Dillon, 26 points. Are you kidding me, dude? Who's he playing next week? Well, he'll be in my starting lineup next week. That's for certain. Um, Fantasy football's a joke. I'm still in playoff contention, but that makes me sick. AJ Dillon sitting on my bench with 27 points. Let's talk about the NBA. Let's wrap this thing up by talking about the NBA because I have some beefs to settle in the NBA. The Jazz are currently 8-5. We were the last unbeaten team. Were we 7-0? I think we were. I think we were 7-0. We're 8-5 now. We've lost 4 of the last 5. It gives me a headache. We're sitting here. I don't care if we lose to Miami, right? Miami's a good team. But we lose to Miami without Jimmy Butler. And we lose to Miami after going down by like 30 points. Screw you. It's ridiculous. Yeah, we lose to Miami. We gave up 37 points in the third quarter, got outscored by 16. We tried to make a little comeback in the fourth quarter to win the game. You shouldn't have to make comebacks. Just stay in the game. They don't have their best player. They don't have Jimmy Butler, Donovan Mitchell. What are you doing? I get you have 22 points. That's not enough. Jimmy Butler's not in the game. Take over the game and win it. If you're really a super all-star player, and I don't like hating on the Jazz because that's my team and I love the guys, but you got to go out there and do more. Bojan's the only guy who did anything. Remember, Rudy Gobert's out there, 13 rebounds, great. 14 points, not so much. I mean, for him, fine. Jordan Clarkson, 25 points. I mean, what, get all those in the first quarter? It's great. He was fantastic in the first quarter. Do that the whole game. Be consistent. Please just be consistent. Joe Ingles, and this is a coaching thing, because I'd like to get my hands on Quinn Snyder. I'd like to really handle Quinn Snyder. Quinn Snyder's a good coach, right? And I'm not super into the inside statistics of the Jazz like I am the Kentucky Wildcats, and I can tell you why Quinn Snyder sucks, like how John Calipari sucks. Joe Ingles is shooting 41% from 3, and he's shooting 4 a game, which is like 3 less than he did last year. He put up 4 points in this game. Why is our best shooter not shooting? It's a good. I mean, that has to be a good, legitimate question. Why is our best shooter not shooting? I don't get it. Hassan Whiteside's out there is a non-factor. He does nothing but foul. Eric Pascal, I was really high on the guy. I don't think he's all that. We ran a 3-6 9-man rotation, which isn't horrible, but it's a little slim, little weak. We're way too deep of a team. You know what I mean? But yeah, Mike Conley, 6 points. Come on, dude. Come on. I mean, what's going on here? Their best perimeter defender didn't play, and their second best player, Bam Adebayo, had 13 points. He didn't even do. We got beat by Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero. We got beat by the Island Boys. We got beat by the Miami Island Boys, Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero. Come on. Tyler Hero went to Kentucky. I like the guy. You don't let him drop 27 points on you if you're really a contending team in the NBA. You just don't. Duncan Robinson, look, I don't want to spoil this for you, the rest of the NBA, the Jazz. I don't want to spoil it. He only shoots threes. I'm not saying he can't do anything else. He's in the NBA. But he's only there to shoot threes. Maybe when he's running up to the three-point line, you guard him like he's going to shoot a 3. I don't know. But if I were the coach, I'd be telling my guys, hey, this guy shoots like 50% from 3. Why would he be driving it into 2 if he's going to make it from 3 50% of the time? Perhaps we should guard the guy that shoots from 3. I don't know. Other than that, Kyle Lowry, 21 points. Look, Kyle Lowry is a many time All-Star in this league. Kyle Lowry is really good. Kyle Lowry is way out of his prime. He's, 35, 36, and he's chunky. He's more out of shape than I am as a professional basketball player. Now, I'm not saying he's going to go out there and suck, but who's guarding him? Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Joe Ingles. You got to be able to stop Kyle Lowry. It's different when a guy like Tyler Hero, who's in the youth of his career, who's going to be able to drive past you, dunk on you kind of guy, shoot around you kind of guy. Kyle Lowry's going to do 2 things. He's going to shoot, and he's going to pass. And if he's passing, he's probably being pretty productive. But if you shouldn't allow him to score 21 points. You just shouldn't. PJ Tucker, 13 points. Shouldn't have 13 points, but I'm not going to rag on you for PJ Tucker. Um, I mean, what Gobert stops Adebayo? That's not super surprising. Gobert's the best defender in the league. He does his job. The rest of you need to do your job. But as a whole, the Jazz are sitting here 8-5. So where'd their other losses come from? We lost to the Heat a couple weeks ago. Not a couple weeks ago. Yeah, about a week ago. About a week ago. Come on. By 3. And Jimmy Butler played in that game. So you do the math a little bit. We had the exact same team we had in that game. They didn't. They had their best player in that game. They didn't in this one, and yet they beat us by more? I get it's the NBA, and I get they're professional basketball players. I get stuff can change, but at the same time, if you're a real contending team in the NBA, you have to win that game. We lose to the Pacers. The Pacers. We lose to the Pacers. I mean, what's going on here? So, okay, this is what I'm talking about. And I remember seeing this when the game happened. I couldn't watch the game. I don't have League Pass because I'm not paying for that crap. I'll watch the games when they come on live, and I'll watch the highlights, and I'll pay attention, and I'll look at all the stats, and I'll make sure to keep as much up as I can without buying League Pass. But Domantas Sabonis, the best player on the Pacers, had 6 points. Well, normally, if the best player on your team has 6 points, you lose. Especially if it's against a premier team, a supposed premier team in the NBA. You lose when your best player has 6 points. Not for the Pacers. The Pacers win by 11. when their best player has 6 points, they win. Okay, who did it? Malcolm Brogdon drops 30 points. That's on Donovan Mitchell's head. That's on Donovan Mitchell's head, dude. You got to be a better defender. Malcolm Brogdon cannot win a game for the Pacers against us. It's ridiculous. TJ McConnell, 21 points. Mike Conley, that's on your head. Guard him. He's a passer. He's a distributor. He's a great distributor. You can't let TJ McConnell have 21 points. And that's really it. I mean, they really didn't do anything else. Of course, Gobert gets thrown out at the end, and Donovan gets thrown out, and Joe gets thrown out. But come on. I mean, Donovan has 26 points in that game, outscored by Malcolm Brogdon. Screw off. Gobert, 19 points, 11 rebounds. I mean, fantastic game for him. Joe Ingles, again, nothing, but that's a coaching thing. Jordan Clarkson, nothing. Mike Conley, 6 points again. Bojan, nothing. Royce, nothing. Trade Royce O'Neal. Trade him. It's not that hard. Actually, it might be hard because no one else wants him. He's not as bad as George Niang, but he shouldn't be starting on this team. We lose to the Magic. I forgot about that. I was too busy worried about the last 2 losses. Forgot we lost to the Magic, and we were way up on them. We were winning. We were winning by. Let me see. Let me try to do the math because we lost by 7 in the end. We were winning by. They were up by 13. Then we went up by 2. Then we went up by 10. So we were up by 10 going into the fourth quarter, and we lose by 7. How you like that? How you like them apples? We lose by 7. We were up by 10 on the Orlando Magic. We should have been up by 30 on the Orlando Magic, but we're up by 10, and then we lose by 7. Cole Anthony has, 30-something points? I mean, yeah, 33 points. Cole Anthony. He's a good player. He's not dropping. That's on your head, Mike Conley. Let's see how many points Mike Conley had. Oh, never mind. I forgot. Mike Conley didn't play in this game because he's always hurt. He's either always hurt or dropping 6 points. That's fantastic, isn't it? No, who would have started? So was it Donovan that started at point guard, or was it Joe? Either way, that's worse. He drops 33 points on Donovan or Joe, both guys who were supposed to be better defenders than Mike. What are you doing, Donovan? What are you doing, Joe? I mean, it's ridiculous. Joe has 5 points. Joe Ingles has 5 points. If we're not going to use this guy who can shoot 40% from 3, then trade him. Trade him. Get someone that you think you can use. I don't care. I love Joe Ingles. I really do. He's one of my favorite players. But if you're going to not use him, then trade him. I mean, Donovan has 21 points. Dude, you're supposed to be a superstar in this league. Come on. You can't have 21 points against the Magic. And here's where it is. You think, we're early in the season. You think this stuff doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, we've never won a championship. Okay? We've never won an NBA Finals. If we want to win an NBA Finals, we can't let games like that slip, right? We can't let games like the Magic slip, or the Pacers slip, or the Heat without their best player slip. I mean, so that's 3 losses. We beat the Hawks, but the Hawks suck. They're another team that is blown butt this whole year. We lose to the Bulls, which I'm not mad about at all, really. The Bulls are a good team. We should have competed probably a little bit better, but I'm not mad about losing to them. Yeah, and before that, we had been undefeated. Well, I'm only counting 4 losses. Who am I missing here? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, yeah, that's 5. I mean, come on. As far as the Jazz go, I'm not looking forward to not looking forward to the rest of the season if we're playing like this. Major. I mean, we need to if this is like the last year in my book, really. Okay, so we got an old Joe Ingles, an old Mike Conley, a getting there Rudy Gobert. I mean, he's still in his prime, but he's like 30. Donovan obviously is Donovan. Bojan is old. I mean, he's 33, 32. Royce is young, but not like super young. Was like 27. Um, any Jordan's probably mid 20s. Uh, this is the last year, and as far as I'm concerned, if we don't win it this year, it's time to blow it up. I'm not talking rebuild because I don't want to lose Donovan Mitchell's prime years, right? But I'm talking about trading to make a real contending team that is on the same timeline as our superstar, right? So not guys that are reaching their retirement years, guys that are around the same age as our superstar that we can contend with, right? Kind of like how the Phoenix Suns did, right? They built a team that fits the same timeline as Devin Booker, and then they threw that cherry on top of Chris Paul, right? And that got them to the finals. They went from never being in the playoffs to the finals in 1 year. That's fantastic front office. The Jazz can't seem to do that. I don't get why. In my book, Donovan Mitchell is better than Devin Booker. So you do the same thing, right? I love Rudy Gobert. Maybe it's time to switch it up and get a guy who can play some offense, right? Or if we keep Rudy Gobert, get a legitimate second option on offense. Mike Conley isn't that guy. Joe Ingles isn't that guy. Bojan is only that guy half the time. Jordan is only that guy 10% of the time. We have to get a legitimate, consistent second option that we just don't have. We just don't have one. And it's going to kill us in the end when we have to rely on Donovan putting up 50 points per game in the playoffs if we want to win a championship. It's just not a successful way to play basketball. Is that all I have to talk about? Because I've been on here 42 minutes, which is actually wild. I don't usually talk this much when it's just me because I don't have that much to go off of. But we are in the prime time of the sports year, other than baseball just ending. But NFL, college football, of course, Kentucky has totally flunked out. The rest of this is actually I actually like college football this year as far as not really knowing. Either you say you don't know when everyone really knows it's Georgia. But at the same time, they could lose. It's not Alabama. It's not your invincible Superman team that Alabama usually puts together. And even if Georgia wins, hey, it's not Alabama at least. You know what I mean? So I actually kind of like college football. I wish Kentucky hadn't have totally flunked themselves. I mean, they were in contention there for a little bit and totally threw that out the window. So but yeah. I mean, college football probably the most entertaining it's been for me in a while. College basketball we are to see it over the coming weeks, over the coming podcast. Even if it is just me, I will be sure to give you my opinions on college basketball, and the NBA obviously will make me mad every week. I think that's all I got. That is episode 11 of the Threewind podcast. I guess today it's just the Ethan podcast or the Ethan Alexander show. You can check us out on every single social media. Threewind Sports on Twitter, Instagram. Instagram's doing really well. Facebook, and then TikTok, Threewind Sports. We've kind of hit a standstill on TikTok. I don't really get how the TikTok algorithm works. A couple weeks ago, we were doing fantastic. Now we're kind of slow again. It's kind of going through the doldrums. Every once in a while, I'll have a jump of like 100 followers in a day, and then every once in a while, I'll go like 2 weeks without gaining one. So TikTok's really weird. I'm pretty consistent on Instagram. And yeah, and of course, YouTube channel, Threewind Sports on YouTube. I think that's all I got. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, and rate and follow if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. I'm so glad that you were listening and or watching. This means a lot to me, means a lot to us. I know the other guys are not here right now, but everybody that pays attention to what we have to say means a lot. So thank you, and I'll do my best to see you next week. All right, peace.